Hello and welcome back to another installment of PokeFodder where we are charging hard into the end of January. And I do want to apologize in yesterday's video. I don't know what was going on with the audio, but it was like way overblown. And there's no way for me to know that it's like that until I get into post-production. And then there's kind of nothing I can do but turn it down a little bit, but it still sounds overblown. And I do apologize for that. Speaking of apologies, last night, and my phone is taking forever to load this up. I'm glad this one worked finally. We get this notice regarding monthly ranking related display bugs. So it seems that for almost 2 weeks, from 8 a.m. UTC on the 17th until 10:05 UTC on the 29th, there was a bug where your monthly rating would be displayed as 0. Now, that nobody even pointed it out to me, so I don't know how widespread this was. I typically, if there's something wrong in the game, people will point it out to me and say, hey, XYZ, here's what's going on. But this is the first that I'm hearing of it. In addition to fixing the bug causing this issue, we have confirmed that changes in rating based on duel results during the period in which the bug was active have been correctly made. So accurate monthly ratings are now being displayed. Affected players will receive the following items as compensation for the bug. Now, before I get into this, if your rating is displayed as 0, now let's just kind of go over the broad spectrum of the problems that Pokemon Duel has had. We've had abilities that were just flat out wrong or mislabeled, as far as like Tapu Fini respinning, and if they were supposed to spin a gold, they were knocked out, but it said if they spin a purple, they're knocked out. That's kind of a big deal. That could directly affect which figures you attack or choose to do battle with. They've had problems where Vibrava was affecting your own figures. That's a huge deal. Like, that renders Vibrava completely useless if you can't move past your own figure. What else have they had? They've had bugs where, like on Tapu Bulu, its ability says grass-type Pokemon when attacking can't be knocked out by displacement moves. So Sunsteel Strike, Moongeist Beam, Cyclone Kick. Well, when that first figure was first released, it protected all figures across the board. Like, those are huge game-changing type errors on Pokemon Duel's part. So here we go. Compensation. So they're going to do a maintenance on February 1st. We should get the announcement later today. As I'm recording this, it is in the morning on Tuesday the 30th. We should be getting the announcement of if they're doing a new banner, if they're releasing new mons, buffs, changes, things of that nature, because they have said that they're doing a maintenance on the 1st. Those players whose monthly rating was displayed as 0 during the period in which the bug was active. So here is the compensation that they're going to get. Now, mind you, all this was that their ranking showed 0. Didn't affect their gameplay. I have no idea what it affected for matchmaking. I have no idea how it impacted these people. So I'm not trying to, like, say that this wasn't a big deal, but it, to me, on the surface, it doesn't seem like your game is broken. Like, yeah, it's broken, but all figures being able to attack when Bulu was on the field, now that is broken, because that affects so many players. What they're going to get is 3 booster tickets. We've never gotten a compensation like that before. I'm trying to figure out how this was such a major issue that this is one of the bigger apology rewards that we've seen out of Pokemon Duel. I would think that something that affects every player and abilities being wrong and figures performing incorrectly, if we go back and look, like, there was 3 straight maintenance periods, I believe, where there was a checklist of all the things they went through and fixed, and we got like 1 booster ticket as compensation, or maybe 10 gems or 15 gems or something. Really bizarre as to why they would give 3 booster tickets for this glitch. Like I said, it didn't happen to me. I don't know of anybody that it happened to. But if it happened to you, let me know in the comments below, because let me know how it affected your games. I'm really curious to know why this was such a big error that they felt 3 booster tickets was needed. That being that, if we go back and look, I'm so struggling this month. And this isn't a woe is me video, but back here. 23.45. I'm probably 100 off of my high, my peak there. And I'm in danger of not even making the top 1,000. We've got work to do, and now I'm stuck. Do I grind it out to get to 2,400? Or do I just accept my fate? I'm going to play. I broke out the big guns. And here's the problem. Let's jump into a league match. But here's the problem. Even with my big guns, I'm still losing. My Solgaleo has a problem of the misses right now. So you remember a few videos back where I had mentioned that the wheels are accurate. What the wheel shows is what you can expect your rolls to be. And with what is the nature of probability, random rolls, things of that nature, is over the lifetime of a figure, it's going to roll a given roll that many times percentage-wise. Well, here's the problem. I'm in a phase where, for the longest time, my Leo, I felt like it never missed. Well, now all those 8 miss slots have to be made right with the world, and they're all coming back right now when I've gotten to the point where I trust Leo in do or die situations to either flat out win a roll or to roll the Sunsteel Strike and knock my opponent out. That's what I've come to expect. So when I roll miss, it's been absolutely crippling to me, and that's what's been happening this morning as far as I'm playing. Now, I don't know why my opponent opened on the back line and was like, whoa, no, wait, never mind. I'm going to come out into the middle. But that's what he wanted to do. Good for him. Happy that he had that change of mind. We are just going to drop Oricorio out. He probably thinks, oh, look, my Sceptile can hit 140. Well, your Sceptile can no longer beat my Deoxys attack form. I did go ahead. Now, here's something that I wonder. I went ahead and made my DOA 140. I wonder if Sableye is a good matchup against Mega Gengar. It's a legit question. If I thought far enough in advance, I should start doing counter videos of what counters what. But then, and it's not if I have time. The reason why I haven't, because I do have the resources on my Discord to kind of figure out any matchup what a good counter would be. Really wish I was paying attention to my opponent's plates. The problem is what threshold does something become a counter? Is it better than a 50-50 chance? Does that make it a counter? In my mind, I don't think so. Is it a 60-40 in your favor? Is that a counter? Is a counter something that doesn't die? Is it something that has a chance of knocking out the opponent? Like, there are so many different thresholds of what is a counter. And that is the main reason why I haven't gotten into doing counter videos. But I think it's very useful information to have. And then the other part of that would be, is Sceptile a counter to DOA? Well, with chain levels, like it becomes multi-dimensional, multi-layered. Sceptile is a good counter to DOA if you're running Tropical Energy your Sceptile is level 10 and has chain levels, and your opponent's running a DOA and not running the, as he rolls a double slip. What am I trying to say here? Not running the Oricorio that gives him a buff. You know, it just becomes so complex that if I did encounters, would I just do base level 1 at level 1? And at level 1 is the same as at level 5, no chain levels. You know, and it just becomes kind of wonky there. So as we can see, we are 2329 in monthly rating. And what was my 2345? So we're going to jump in to another one. You know, if I hadn't gone like 3 wins and 2 losses and losing to 3,100 players in my dailies, then I may have been able to get up and above that 3,400 threshold. Soteris, his projections for what is going to be top 1,000 is in the neighborhood of 2380. Now, that doesn't take into account how hard people are going to grind between yesterday and today, or today and the maintenance period. But that's just based on his formula that he's been crafting and creating over the last several months. What does he have? He does have a Coco, but you know what? He's not going to rush out with his Coco. That would be silly for him because Coco is the quarterback of his deck. Yeah, that's kind of what I expected right there. But his Soteris' projection is somewhere around 2380 to make top 1,000 with an extremely low threshold for I don't want to do that. We'll just come back here. Extremely low threshold for top 100, somewhere under 2,500, I believe, was the last report on what top 100 is going to make. And I have never seen the top 100 that low before. I think we're going to put our Sableye here and go after Vikavolt. You know what? We probably are not even going to attack into his Vikavolt. He did upgrade his Thunderous Blow. That's okay. It's only a 28 wheel slice. Now, when he's going to attack into me, it's going to feel a lot larger than that, quite honestly. But it really is only 28 wheel slice. I shouldn't be that concerned about it. Let's see if our Deoxys attack form can go knock out Zapdos without slipping. Okay, it's a good start. We're going to re-roll him. Perfect. Thank you, Deoxys. I appreciate your loyalty and service, even though I don't run you very often. And you know, if I weren't running Oricorio, I would probably drop Deoxys attack form. And if you have pieces of this deck, I would drop, the first two I would drop would be Oricorio and Deoxys attack form. Those are the first two that I would be dropping. Ooh. We are probably going to need him to reroll. Oh, no, we're not. Nope. I don't think my opponent did his overdrive right there. That really cost him. So here comes the question. The $1 million question. You know what? I could have just gone in and attacked his goal. But I was a chicken and I was afraid of slipping. That's why I went after his Reshiram. Now we've got his Reshiram knocked out. I could, no. My next play will probably be Sableye to right there. Maybe. No. Now, let me check his plates before I do something really dumb. He does not have long throw. So I'm going to take over his other entry point. That was a bad play by my opponent. If my opponent had left his Raikou there, I could not have taken over his entry point because he could have brought his Koko over, surrounded me, and I could not have captured his goal. See? It's only a 28 wheel slice, but when you're rolling against me, it might as well be larger than that. The only good that came out of that was he paralyzed his own Vikavolt. I really wish Vikavolt were better. I thought it was going to be good. I really did. But it just rolls at 70 way, way, way too much. And we're going to get knocked out there as well. Can't keep the pressure on him. What I'm going to do after that, I mean, it depends on what my opponent does. He may hop his Zapdos over Vikavolt and attack my Leo. If he doesn't, then what I'm going to do is my Metal Sphere. I do prefer Metal Sphere over Metal Coat, Metal Plate, Metal Energy, Steel Energy. My goodness. That took like 6 tries to figure out what it was I was trying to say there. The reason why I prefer it, especially because I'm just running the one steel figure, is then it gives me +10 to both of my attacks. And a word of caution, I like Magearna, but you cannot use Metal Sphere with Magearna because if you roll the 120 attack, which resets it back to the pre-game. That was a bizarre. That was really bizarre. Huh. It sets it back, the figure back to the way it was when the game started, and that includes eliminating your Metal Sphere plate. Alright, so my opponent did not fall asleep on the job. And as such, I thought I could get the swap spot cheese. That's what I was setting up there anyways. Really not overly concerned about this. Maybe I should be. Guess I should have been. We'll just try to knock out Zapdos here. That's going to be a perfect little knockout. Now what I need to do is not let him get both Reshiram and Zekrom back on the board at the same time. There's nothing that I can really do to stop it. We'll bring Sableye to the back line. That was a pretty aggressive play by his Koko. That was a really bizarre play. So I'm going to go over here. Melee, Melee Wish. I just don't see that happening. I definitely want to get this Koko off the board before he has both of his dragons on the board, to take away that additional plus 30 damage. He does have one overdrive, a hurdle jump, and an X attack plate. I still have my max revive, so I'm going to bring my Lunala out. Now, I'm only going to drop my Lunala right here because I don't want Lunala getting electrocuted, paralyzed, if he chose to attack with Vikavolt into my Leo. I prefer not to have to deal with a double whammy. And I would like to... We're actually going to use our double chance right here to try to take out his Reshiram. We are going to re-roll that. And then we're going to make our opponent re-roll, looking for Fly. Nope. Well, on the positive side there, we did get rid of being burned. on the negative, we kind of lost a little bit of board presence there. Lost a lot of time as well. I think it's best just to go ahead and we'll take over this entry point. Plus 30. I think the plus 30 comes after the halvesies too. Zap cannon. That was the attack that I was concerned about, leaving me paralyzed. And it did. But just going to take my Deoxys attack form and start pressing up the outside lane now. My Leo it feels kind of scary. What I may do is okay, that worked out really well. What I wanted to do was move Oricorio off of my goal, and then I could have used Goal Block to kind of hide my Solgaleo. But because my opponent applied pressure on my Leo, I could not do that. Cool. And that's going to free up my Deoxys to continue his march up the outside lane. No need for me to attack. I'm just going to take over the entry point and we'll call it a turn there. And probably going to attack with Zapdos. No. He's going to use his overdrive. 121 and then add 30. We'll make him spin. Maybe he'll hit fly or miss or dodge. Fly it is. Good stuff right there. And we will now just go over here and take over his entry point. I'm leaving my Sableye exposed to Zapdos for sure. Sableye will be getting moved up on the next go around. Once again, he rolls Bolt Strike, so we are going to re-roll him, hopefully into Fly. I don't know if this gets over 141. It does not. Which works out really well for me. We will now move Sableye up. His Zapdos could attack Lunala, could attack Sableye. A couple different options. Both of them actually really nice for my opponent here. Don't really know which way he's going to go. Probably Lunala, okay. That was kind of my guess, because he needs to free up his entry point. Did not really work out for him. I'm going to go here. And what this is going to do is, because he needs to open up his entry point. Okay. I was going to say it set up a surround. But what I did was allowed myself to take over his entry point. I need him to roll purple or white or roost or miss. So anything but gold for one roll. No. Like that was the only roll that I needed him not to do is land gold. For one roll, that was it. It didn't happen. I'd be surprised if he didn't just attack here. I have 50% of my wheel as a miss. If I do lose, I will take my Coco and just replace him. But we're not going to lose. As long as I can keep Reshiram and Zekrom off the board at the same time, which what that means is I need to knock out Reshiram right here. Either way, I will take over his entry point. And he can't fly, so that's always good. Entry point taken. But what am I going to do to get to his That's really bizarre. Why would you choose to go over there to attack instead of taking the much better matchup of Reshiram versus Coco? And this is going to prevent him from having Resh and Zek on the board at the same time, which is very crucial when you're playing the Twin Dragons. And once again, we're back up in the Power Y formation with Oricorio on the goal, Leo one off of his goal. Not high expectations here for this. Man, that would have been great to be able to pull that one off. I'm just going to go after this. Like, no guts, no glory. You're going to roll 140 if we roll white. He rolls the dodge. Now what I've done is I've left myself exposed if and when Coco gets knocked out. Well, I don't know why he keeps moving around to attack instead of just attacking. And then I roll the miss that he lands an attack where he rolls the miss. I did not land my attack. Solid. You know, it's 50-50 for me to miss. So, like, I don't feel confident in Leo at all. Who does he bring out? He brings out his Zekrom. Wow. Leo is doing some work. After I talked trash about him and how this was his turn and his time to be rolling misses, and I promise it was happening earlier. Now, once again, I have his entry points taken care of. I need to survive one roll from either of my status figures. I think my opponent should attack Leo, but that's just me. And I'm actually going to need to survive 2 attacks. This was not the right option because I can always respin you. I'm not even going to need to, because that is why we love Zapdos. Maybe my opponent has just rage quit. We may have just induced a rage quit from my opponent. I don't see a whole lot of rage quitting anymore, but it mostly comes down in the lower ranks. Not sure what the difference is between players at the low. Well, I know what the difference is between players at the lower ranks and players as they climb higher as far as skill level and figures, but I'm not sure what it is about the lower ranked players and rage quitting. I think it's safe to say my opponent has had enough. It was a bad decision to attack with Zapdos into my Deoxys attack form because I can respin him. So even had he rolled, what was I doing? 140. So I was doing more damage than he could do anyways at 144-ish. He could only hit 136. So as long as I rolled white, he had no way of knocking me out. Bad attack on his part. Probably should have, if he wanted to use Zapdos, should have attacked my Leo, which I will admit Leo was rolling abnormally well for having a 50% miss. But that is going to do it for today's video. We are going to climb up to a new monthly high, 2348. That gets us to 932, so I've still got work to do. 2348 is not going to get me top 1000 for the month, but that is going to be where I get for this video. Let me know about the bug. Did it happen to you? What was going on with the bug? Because I knew nothing about this. And do you feel like if this happened to you, do you feel like 3 booster tickets was fair? And if it didn't happen to you, do you feel like 3 booster tickets is a fair reward for, or compensation for something that was affecting what seems to be a small amount of the players, where there have been much bigger game breaking type errors on Pokemon Duel's part that did not get compensated nearly that high of a level. Let me know in the comments below. And that's all we've got for today. So until next time.